Alright guys, welcome back. It's game 3 and I finally figured out how we were gonna look at this matchup. You were talking about the
Mhm.
logos and if we
You
just
figured it out. I
yeah,
figured
yeah,
it
yeah,
out.
okay, you figured it out.
Credit
You
where
told
credit
me.
is
Fine.
due. Come on.
It's pretty much like cuz their logos are like cats and dogs, right? So it's gonna
Yep. Corgi's butt has
Yeah.
a no surprise.
yeah,
Corgi's
right.
butt as the logo, and the other
Good job,
side
detective.
has
We solved it.
Sherlock right here, Sherlock.
Do you hear the answers? Okay, we are on the picks and bans, okay, so we should be looking at that. Ophelios actually making it through. It's the first time we see
Oh
Ophelios
wow.
play it, but even though it was available, no one really picked it up. Misfortune will be banned out along with LeBlanc and the Rumble, so still 100% pick ban.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for the Jinx. I'm getting excited for the Jinx because a bad pen
Nice.
off of
Nice.
her passive.
Nice. It's gonna be Jink Leona though, so got a
It's
lot of
hyper carry potential if she gets to that point, which is
Mhm.
why I'm excited. I don't want to say Jinx main because that's bringing shame to the generations of Jinx mains that came before me.
I had like a
I'm
follow-up for your like bad pun with Jinx. When I saw the Leona, I was like, yeah, probably not. I shouldn't encourage her. You wanna hear it?
Encourage
It's
me.
like,
Encourage
so now
me.
you have sun thing to get excited about.
Oh my god!
What's up?
Yes!
That's pretty good, right?
We're the tag team right here, guys.
Alright.
This is your weekend entertainment. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Female Esports League SGMYID last qualifiers.
Why they even bother helping you?
Hey.
Okay.
I appreciated it.
Back to serious business. We
Mhm.
see the Leona on the
Oh.
side being matched with Oriana. So far, Red Team has been playing, or at least opting for these wombo combo compositions, whereas the Sejuani and Nautilus will be locked. And remember that Sejuani did see some buffs.
Yeah, I'm really excited actually for the Sejuani Nautilus. That really, I mean, it's a great combination, as you were saying. The Sejuani does have the buffs, a bit of a mixed bag. I believe she had some sort of
Yeah.
tweaks and nerfs as well. For example, I think the she doesn't get her passive off of the minions,
Yeah, yeah,
off of the jungle camps
It
anymore.
actually ticks off very quickly also on her passive. Yeah. And Yanko's on Suicide Watch, of course, because he doesn't want to play Sejuani. But that being said, you were talking about synergy. Your ganks in bot lane are actually pretty strong now that you have this on-demand CC early on with Sejuani Nautilus, because Nautilus autos passives do have root. Does have root behind it, of course, and Sejuani's E, the Permafrost, I believe, applies with melee auto attacks. So if you want to play around bot lane, extremely effective at locking members down. Second ban phase coming through, we see the Zoe and the Fiora being removed from the pool. The Mordekaiser is out as well, and the Ornn. So I like what Corgi's but is doing so far with the draft. They are very targeted at removing power picks and securing power picks of their own.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much going for the all-in Jinx hypercarry composition with the Leona, with the Oriana. I mean, and Trundle as well as just all safe picks, just
The
wanting
classic.
to try the classic let the Jinx try and shine. And I think we touched on this a bit during the last game about how if you have a champion such as Oriana in the mid lane, you kind of get stronger the more people try and gank you, because say if you're gonna ball them, your ball is going to land onto 2 people instead of just 1 person. However, because this game Cappuccino has gone for the Sejuani, pretty much I think if you get caught by the Sejuani R, you're dead. So your Oriana R is not going to save you at that point. Ooh, Irelia, that's interesting.
Aurelia's pretty greedy here because you don't know what their top laner is, and there are certain matchups that Aurelia just does absolutely nothing. I feel like you could pretty comfortably counterpick this with something like Cho'Gath, and because they have to show their full hand, right? It could be Soraka top, Aurelia mid, and you could play an aggressive top laner and look to.
I mean, you could play. The thing is, I think some champions that do well versus Soraka top, for example, I mean, like Tristana. Tristana's not bad. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much your AD.
Something aggressive.
Yeah, I don't.
Cho'Gath is, like I said.
Cho'Gath I think is probably the best option right here because they have the Jinx on their team. They're not going to want to pick something like Lucian Jinx, Tristana Jinx. Yep.
Problem with this is
more frontline.
If they end up swapping lanes in a sense that you put the Aurelia into Ryze in the top lane, the Ryze is gonna have a bad time. Yeah, and because this is double AP, Aurelia can opt to go for something like early Wits and early Magic Resist and play into both matchups pretty well. In this case, it's gonna be the mid lane Soraka. Yep, there you go, the flex, the Aurelia in the top lane. And
Yeah.
now this Rise is at a disadvantage.
Yeah, they are going to give the advantage to Irelia in top. However, they are going to be sacrificing the mid lane just in that because Soraka, just in terms of the ease of map movement, right?
Yeah.
So if you have Soraka in the mid lane, your Sejuani is very likely going to want to be ganking top and bottom. It's going to make it a lot harder for the cross map play. If you have the Irelia, for example, in your mid lane, it's a lot easier for Sejuani to from the mid lane
Yeah.
go across the map
Here's-
and gank the other lane. So Soraka in mid kind of stifles the map movement. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Here's the solution I present to you that I think a lot of teams. Yeah, here you go. What you
May I
do
have
is
some more?
you invade and you split the map, right? So you split the map right now because you have Irelia who also procs permafrost from Sejuani, very good on-demand CC. Sejuani invades, takes red buff, takes her blue side, so you do red, your own blue, Gromp, insta level 3, just sit in top lane and you split the map. You take the Scuttle Crab top side. After that, doesn't matter, eat their Raptors, it's okay. And then you force Trundle to play on the bottom half. All you have to do as Aphelios Nautilus is to not die. Just don't extend past the river, you'll be fine, right? And for Irelia, all she does is control the wave properly, so that if Rise is poking with the E, it's going to naturally push the wave out, right? So that's when you can start to create those advantages if you split the map. And I do expect that a team that recognizes this and wants to execute the split map will be doing that. So we'll see very aggressive level 1 into a red buff invade for the Sejuani into map being split. As to your earlier point about the Soraka, for people wondering, what is this, like Season 6, why are we seeing Soraka solo lanes? She brings a lot of value to her team when it comes to playing as a secondary support, as well as having a very non-interactive laning phase. So what that means is, all you do is just queue the waves. You queue and push, and if they trade against you, you queue them and you heal. If they try to all-in you, you put the silence down, and either you stop the engage by silencing them, or you just make sure they're rooted soon after, right? So it's a zoning tool. That's why Soraka is so non-interactive, is such a pain to lane against, but she is very susceptible to getting ganked still if you approach her from multiple angles. So for example, Trundle comes from a back of a flank, Orianna walks up, there's no good way to put the silence. You either put it on the Orianna or on Trundle, either way you're dead, right? So you have to respect the vision, have a lot of protective vision as well. And even if you do split the map, protective vision very important for the Soraka.
Yep, I like how you lay down the early game plan for the side of ACJMRz. We'll have to see whether they will go for that, how well they'll be able to execute that. I think for the side of the Jinx, right? It's pretty much their game plan is simple.
Yeah.
They want to get the Jinx rolling. They want to just all resources onto the Jinx. They don't quite have a lot of very good early game snowballing tools. I mean, you've got a Trundle jungle.
The Trundle is like a cheap answer to the Sejuani. It's like, okay, in fight, she's going to get Aftershock, she's going to tank you. We just press R,
exactly.
right? And then we see the stats go down. And back to my earlier point about like splitting the map, that's how you get the Jinx hit. See, it's all the part of the game plan. You split the map, and now Trundle can play bot side. Jinx and Leona are just going ham, going aggressive. They get the early leads, and like both teams now have sort of like their own win conditions in the sense like this is what both of them, you expect them to split the map. And then in team fights, it comes down to like skill checks. Can Irelia outskill Jinx when it comes to isolating her in the backline and, you know, finding those like broken blade flanks, like super sick 4-man stuns with the E's, you know, that kind of thing, like with the flawless duet. I'm not sure if we will see that, but like this is how I theory craft the early game going, given the sort of priorities that both teams have in terms of their win conditions.
Yeah, in terms of the team fights, it's really going to be mostly all up to the Irelia to really try and get a jump onto the Jinx. The thing is, there's so much frontline for the Jinx. There's so much peel. There's just so many tanks in between the Irelia and the enemy AD carry. It's going to be a bit difficult. I think they're really wanting to count on Aphelios to really lay down that long-range damage onto the Jinx and them to be able to finish her off. Whereas for Peel Good Inc., good name to have if you're.
Oh, I love it. As a Gorillas fan, I love it. That's perfect. That is awesome, actually.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope she can peel well for herself at this game because it's really all eyes onto the Jinx for this game.
Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna like throw in some like puns now. I feel
Bad
like
jokes.
yeah, you know.
That's all you.
Okay, pretty cohesive entrance and rather exit out of the base here. So you can see the defense being set up actually here from ACJMRZ. I'm just gonna, you know, pay attention to how Corgi's Bud is gonna interact with the map right now, because like I said, they do want to steal the red buff and split the map if they can. Oriana staying in the mid lane, throwing the ball into the bot brush, gives her good control of the vision here around this area. But overall, nothing aggressive coming up from both teams. Looks to be a pretty standard start with one ward on the Raptor camp, so that's going to give them information of if Trundle moves to the top side. You could probably see her pathing up with that ward.
Yeah, pretty standard coming out from both teams. It's kind of, I think, historically in FSL, we don't really see a lot of very aggressive level 1s. Even when the level 1 team fight, the Earth mentality is in the meta, we don't generally see that coming out from FSL.
Look at a very good leash here with the Permafrost, as well as Zevram coming in from Aphelios. Now, I know there's been a lot of memes about Aphelios and visual clarity. I'll try my best to encapsulate it in this game and make it very clear if I can. Right here, the Trundle will be starting. Why do you take the second? Oh, hook in onto the Jinx. Actually, a lot of damage down because the Aftershock is going to get proc. Decent stun across as well. Camellia, though, not really able to dish out sufficient damage to the Leona. It's going to be ADCs trading health bars. Or rather, Jinx trading health bars with the Nautilus.
Yeah, not the most worth. Jinx doesn't have the sustain in this lane.
They're looking for level 2 here, actually. So they will hit it. They're looking for the hook now.
Oh.
Will connect onto Q. Good ink and flashing away, but the Ignite is down. The Q was used as well. Now, the Leona, the name in itself kind of dicey. It's 2020. You can't really say these sort of things anymore, but she will be safe without having to blow her summoner spells.
We'll just call her Leona this game. And with that, Vayne is going to go into the river, drop a ward. Oh, right here, Cappuccino gonna spot out just MXRE. Overhead and trying to hit over towards the top side. Soraka.
So annoying.
Yeah, and Eglantine takes that minion aggro as well. Oh, that's so irritating. Cappuccino right here waiting just behind the wall.
I have seen like top lane Sorakas do stuff like double Dorans or like triple Dorans, right? And then they immediately rush redemption. And you can never like push them out because of the healing. It's so frustrating.
The worst. Yeah, and the thing is that Q has a really large hitbox as well. If you're in a solo lane, pretty much you will, if any melee champion tries to walk up to the minions, you will land your Q on them to get the rejuvenation.
And you get movement speed from the rejuvenation as well.
Exactly,
it's
and then you just kite backwards.
It's only nerfed in the next patch, man. This patch is still quite frustrating.
Soraka, man, my dream come true champion.
Jenny doesn't play League, she does his speed.
Hey, excuse me.
Okay, swapping over to the Gravitum gun. Remember, there's on-demand CC for the Aphelios right now. In fact, we'll be moving back and forth between the weapons.
Yeah, one thing to note, guys, is that Vayne, as you see the support right here from the side of Corgi's, but was the support from a top 10 Dinos. They were, of course, the Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia winner from the last FSL. And Vayne, of course, has been multiple roles within the leagues here in Singapore as well. Has played jungle, has played support.
Re-engaging in the choppers are going to root Vayne down as a lot of damage is placed onto the Jinx. She might just fall here. The first blood is going to go away off Camellia. The Leona there was not positioned as well as she would have liked, and you could see the Gravitum actually rooting her and then allowing the fallout damage to come through. Eventually getting to Infernum as well, so the AoE damage from the Flamethrower on the Aphelios good enough to get the kill.
Yep, and Corgi's but finally able to convert the earlier burning of the Jinx flash and heal into this kill onto both members of the ACJMRZ bot lane. Very good timing and a very good play from the side of Corgi's butt.
So the problem right now, you can see it's very apparent. CS differential, item differential, and kill differentials in the bot lane. As the game goes on, Camellia is only going to get more and more dangerous with her lead right now. And people might think, well, Jinx scales really well. So does Aphelios, especially when he hits an earlier item spike and accelerates the goal curve.
But Aphelios, man, I mean, there is a reason he's almost always pick banned so far in all the leagues that we've seen in Crystal World. And right now, Chizu taking a huge amount of damage from the Irelia. The thing for the Rise versus Irelia lane right now is level 5. It only gets worse once she hits level 6, because as a Rise, you're level 6, buddy, that ain't helping you in lane. And
So close.
So close. Yeah. Managed to dash the minions as well. I really thought that was going to be the play.
Hit level 6 on this cannon. She can just flash out her and kill her if she wants, but I would have made that play. Like, hands down would have made that play. Because she doesn't have level 6 just yet. Even I love how our observer, like, he's an ex-pro. He's like, yeah, you make that play 100% of the time. And there you go. Flash out. I love it that it just happens. We don't even have to realize, but it's just there, right? You 100% go for the play, and the solo kill coming in for... we can't see the name on our screen as much on the side, but it is a Chinese name. Jenny was learning how to pronounce it earlier.
We were asking over in when they were setting up the game lobby. It's like, Vini, how do you pronounce your top leader's name?
Meanwhile, I'm here like, 我的中文不好. Sorry, you know, that's all I got for you.
It's like that meme from last year. Is it because I'm Chinese? It's
still be going around. It's like getting recycled now, you know.
A good meme.
Oh, landing the damage. Actually, the Q following through. Here comes the crescendum. Probably the most irritating and well thought out DPS tool for Camellia here.
Hook. That was so close. That hitbox.
4 crescendums now. So. The thing I like about this particular weapon is you have to plan out like how you're going to go for your all-ins. As long as you can stack up enough of those, it's pretty strong, right? So you have to respect, like, okay, if Camellia has 4 crescendums, there's no way of fighting. But if she has 0, like, we could take that all-in. You kind of have to, like, play around it pretty carefully. Potential for all-in is here, though, as Camellia does have the Moonlight Visual going for it. And that's the kill going the way of Vayne, immediately popping the Leona. Here comes the reinforcements from the Trundle, though, as they are moving forward. They have to respect the Orianna. I think Camellia might have overstepped here. She's still looking for it, though. Might just actually fill off the last kill as the Wish comes in to keep her topped up. Hello? She's healing up. Is this even normal? What is going on? Camellia looking for the duo. There's no mana on the Orianna, but enough damage coming through from the autos to finish off the kill there. And this is why I really hate Soraka, because it was a sure thing until the Wish came in. And then she's like, yep, just gonna take turret place here.
She's just
don't mind me.
Yep, she's just casually AAing. She's gonna need a couple.
Okay.
Like 3 more hits. Cappuccino doesn't quite have 6 just yet, but I mean that really is level 7. And we were saying earlier, Rise of level 6 isn't really gonna help him 1v2, buddy.
Is up. This is a dive that's coming through. They're looking for the stun, and they will connect the Flawless Duet, and that's an easy kill.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, you maybe should have run more like 2 seconds before when you saw the Sejuani arrive, because she did not have the Glacial Prison. So
yeah, this is really rough for ACJMRz right now. Leona is trying to roam, however, she's still at level 4. And like Camellia and Vayne are both at level 6 off of the huge lead that they have in Bali right now. Just like taking a look at the CS, Camellia 64 versus Jinx at 35. Right now.
This is a bad TP. They could actually die for once more. They have Glacial Prison available. Flawless Duet is going to connect onto the Rise. Here comes the stun and the CC finally, though, as the Trundle will use the King's Tribute on top of Cappuccino.
Orianna making her way up through the river.
Flawless Duet should be up in a couple seconds for the Aurelia. I think she should be able to get out here.
Yeah, a bit of a wasted time, I think, for Eggland. Team was going to make it up in tempo over right here. Bot side once again. Jinx forced to use the heal. No, a minion wave, buddy. You don't want to recall at that spot.
There's out on Nautilus, almost landing the CC there. Will be able to use the depth charge on top of the Leona. Miscommunicated there. You have to think, as Camellia and Vayne were not on the same page to make the play happen. Drawing turret aggro, though, is a bit tricky here, as they're looking for another Q, almost landing it. The stun is going to come in. One more auto should finish off the kill on the Leona, and that is sick. Camellia knew exactly what she was doing there. She hit the Q on, or rather, she hit the second gun on the Inferno, and it swapped over to land the root.
Yep, a really nice play out from Aphelios. I like how we're we're seeing the FSL AD carries, because when a champion as strong and as dominant in the meta, such as Aphelios, comes out, I feel like there is sometimes it happens where some players are like, you know what, it's gonna be 100% pick ban. We're just not gonna practice it as much because there's no way we're gonna get it.
Right.
And like, you know, you have limited numbers of scrims that you can afford to test out these champions. But I really like the fact that Camellia can play Aphelios.
She understands this champion pretty well, as they will be trading tempo on the map. So right now, the Trundle is going to be able to claim the Rift Herald with the Smite there as well. We'll heal up because of the passive every time.
Yeah, that was actually ridiculous. That was half the health bar.
So you get a
right
heal
there.
from the Smite, and then because the Rift Herald has a massive health bar, when it dies, you get like a percentage of it back. They're looking for the dive, and because of that, Trundle is sort of pathing towards the top side to make sure this is safe. Meanwhile, I could see a bot lane all-in coming through once more once Moonlight Vigil is up. Here comes the Vanguard's Edge, though. Will knock her out of the queue, so they will not be able to go for the all-in on the rise. In fact, only finishing off the Trundle, I believe, as the Wish comes in from the Soraka to keep them topped up. Eglantine here, I think walking forward is going to be a mistake as she looks for the Shockwave on the Sejuani. Remember that here comes the Soraka. They will have... Oh, great double stun though, and the Root as well should be able to finish them off. This is completely sick. I don't even know why she looked for the Shockwave. That was a bit too greedy.
Yeah, not really. I think the best decisions that Eglantine has been making for the last few minutes. The thing is, when you're when you're laning versus Soraka, we understand how it can be really frustrating. You feel like you can't do anything. Below on the other hand, it is fairly easy to really push your wave, make sure you're the first to go for those rotations. So we've seen Eglantine, that's twice now, push out the wave, try to roam towards top, but all it's really done is the first time was just a bit of wasted time. This time giving up that extra kill as well. I kind of want to say that laning against Soraka, you know, you get that bit of like mental boom. You go on tilt when you're laning against Soraka.
I've been in that position before. I completely understand. It's just like, I can't do anything here.
Yeah.
And I want to help my team. But she just presses R and we don't do anything either.
Yeah, I feel like that might be contributing to some of the bad decision making. Just MSPID on a ward.
Is up right now. It's going to be Cloud Drake, so they should take the Scuttle Crab first. Oh, depth charge onto Eglantine. Here comes Yura off the side as well. Camellia, though, getting focused down. She does have the Crescendo, and look at the damage. Oh my goodness, they popped the Trundle and they popped the Orianna as well. And this should be a one fight here if they move forward further. I think Corgi's about should be able to clean this one up. They already land the CC down on top of the Jinx. Moonlight Vigil is available, but whether Camellia can land the range is the question. Throws it forward, will be able to connect on top of the Leona. And there goes the last Q to pick up the kill. Cappuccino here with the Glacial Prison will be able to find the Jinx and pick up the kill as well. So like I said, because they were able to follow through, they get all the kills in the bot side. We'll be able to get the Cloud Dragon as well. And you have to think, at 13 minutes, 9k goal lead is a bit of a problem.
This is such good timing because it's pre-14, they're picking up all the tower plates, and then they're also picking up their second tower of this game so far. So
she's going to win this 1v2. As long as she can hit the Vanguard's edge as well as the Flawless Duet, she's going to win this 1v2. Should be able to kite out though, and the Wish there as well. Now, in a 1v3, I'm slightly less confident about this situation. She's still going for the play though. She's looking for the trade. The Realm Warp though was cancelled when the Rise did go down. Q is up though. She will be able to heal up and
nice.
Yep. I've seen this before on Reddit. I've seen this before on Reddit.
Yep,
I know how this goes.
Easy.
2, 1, Flawless Duet available. There you go.
Nice. Easy triple.
That is all credit where credit is due. It was a sick play, but she was pretty fed already at that point. It's just like, you just have to hit the right buttons.
We saw that play coming from like 30 seconds ago. Like, easy double, easy triple. Yeah.
Clip it, Reddit, I'm coming. I'm on the way, Reddit.
Reddit, I'm coming.
Now they've managed to clear off the mid-tier one as well, open up the map a bit more.
So we're 14 minutes in, and that is almost in the number of thousands goal difference that Corgi's bet.
1k a minute, right? Is that the goal?
Yep. Yep, it's 29.6 to 18.2, so that's 11.4 thousand. One of us can math, one of us here can math, one of us here can read Chinese, and it's the same person.
Oof. Big oof. Big oof. It's funny because I accidentally like threw Granite under the bus in one of like
accidentally.
Yeah. I was like,
I don't
Granite can read Chinese, but in my head, my Chinese isn't that good as well. Like, my Mandarin is not that good either.
So just like what I was telling Jolene, you don't need to be good, you just need to be less worse.
Yeah, speaking of good though, they managed to isolate the Leona, and this is a good pick for them. 140 gold. Cappuccino is gonna pad her KDA 3-0 and 3. CC is good. Pushing into the jungle to get vision is good, and sieging in mid tier 2 should be good as well.
Yeah, sieging mid tier 2 at the 15.5 minute mark is some pretty good stuff. It was really strong showing coming out from Corgi's, but I mean we saw some pretty dominant performances in game 1 as well as game 2 asterisks by the end. But this is another level. Who knew?
I love how in Champion Select we're like, okay,
Lol,
what you need to do is
Soraka.
like get the counter pick against Irella, and maybe you can stifle her, and then like you see the Soraka coming, you're like, oh, hold on, flash out, managing to pull himself into range, and that should be the pickup there. I don't even know how that was gonna end well for the Orianna. Not sure why flash was even necessary in that situation.
Yeah, this.
Oh, fun champion. So annoying.
So much salt. So much salt.
And then back to
Hungry.
full health with the wish, and now the fight's breaking out. This is Leona flashing out, and the hook back in onto the Jinx. You find whatever you can take, and I think Cappuccino's looking for the Trundle here as well. Now 3 members on the side of the red team backing off.
It's actually really sick because you thought that Soraka's support was annoying to play against. The fact that you're Soraka mid, you have more than 100 CS. You've actually got gold to buy your items. That is the difference. She's got her Athenes too. So
40% CDR right now.
exactly,
Balance.
and she's stacking the CD. And then the thing is the heal. Plus, when you're mid and you're taking that damage, you get even more healing power from the blood charges that you get on your things. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Good job, right? Fun champion.
I found my main. Pack it up, guys. I found my main.
So good that even Jenny can play.
Wow. So imbalanced, even I look good. Vayne right now a bit low in mana. They did pick up the inhibitor turret right here. Oh, gonna land the hook.
Yep, but this is a very tanky Knowledge with Aftershock. Great Vanguard's Edge though will be able to find 3 members and mark them up. I think Irella is looking to clean up this fight here as the Rise is trailing off to the side. Amelia will get the kill credit for that. There's only a single Jinx and Orianna in the base with Command Shockwave unavailable. Should be a simple matter of picking up the kill as pulled her away from the... If the hook did not land, that would have been a perfect flawless duet.
I feel so bad for ACJMRz. They just can't kill anyone because of Soraka. Vayne went solo, but Corgi's bot were like, we've got the W, we've got the R, we've got the Athene's Holy Grail passive.
And they
right now, 3v5.
They can literally sit here and fight because they do have a walking fountain with them. As long as the Soraka is safe, they can just like re-engage anytime they want, right? The question is whether they can pick up the Soraka. I feel like if you kill the Soraka early, you might have a chance back into the fight.
You need to catch out the Soraka right here. Looks like a 5v3 turnaround.
See ya, buddy. First one to go down is gonna be the Trundle. The second is the Leona, and those are your primary tanks. They're already dead. Soraka still healthy means that her team is still healthy. She doesn't have enough mana though, so a bit dicey on the next play, but I think they should be able to close this one out because they are up with a man advantage, 5-3. Shockwave coming in is going to do minimal damage to the front line as the Moonlight Vigil is going to pick off the Rise. And Corgi's but in pretty dominant form. Actually, most of the teams that have been coming in today have been showing us that there are no slouches at this game. They're all willing to fight at the highest level and skill check each other. And I think Asterix is going to have their work cut out for them this year if they're looking to retain their title.
Oof. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it is a bit early, I think, in the group stages to really see how the 8 teams will match up against each other. But from what we've seen, as you were saying, I mean, so far the last 3 games, it has looked very dominating for one side. It's going to be so exciting to see how these teams shake up against Asterix.
And the thing is, if you're a fan of the teams that have dropped games, don't feel too bad because it is a double elim, right? So there's a second chance for them to fight all the way back to the winner bracket from the lower bracket, right? So of course that will be shown tomorrow, and of course there will be, I think, one lower bracket match later today as well. So if you are, rooting for AJMCRz, or if you're rooting for Callisto, there's chances for them to sort of come back into the game, and you can track their journey. I think even the Philippines qualifiers, Liab fell very early in the qualifiers, and we just basically watched the journey from the lower bracket all the way back to the top, and I think that was very nice in terms of a narrative. If any other team here in the Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesian server is looking to do the same thing, by all means, I'm down for that. But don't go anywhere if you feel like your team's out, because you can still follow the journey here on the stream.
Yep, exactly. And with that, guys, we're going to go for a short break before we come back with game number 4, our second last game of today's Female Esports League SGMYID qualifiers. Don't go anywhere, guys, and we'll be back very shortly.